Burlington City Arts Virtual Family Art Saturday. I'm Jessie and I'm really glad you're here today. Together we are going to have fun imagining and creating. Burlington City Arts just opened up new exhibitions, and one of the exhibiting artists is JoAnne Carson, and she's going to be the inspiration for our Family Arts Saturday today. JoAnne loves to go out in the garden and draw and paint flowers and bushes and trees. Now, I was out in my garden today and I came across a Snapdragon flower. I love snapdragons because not only are they beautiful flowers, but if you look closely at the flower head of a snapdragon, you can see the beautiful flower, but you can also see what looks like the head of a dragon. And I think that's so awesome, how the flower starts to turn into this dragon-like character. And it's very good inspiration for our project today. JoAnne Carson, when she's painting and drawing, she lets her imagination play and sometimes go a little bit wild. Oftentimes, some of the trees or flowers she's painting become these wonderful animated characters, and you might start to recognize a face or arms growing out of them. I encourage you to go check out this artwork. You can see it at burlingtoncityarts.org website. The exhibition is titled A Sense of Wonder, and it's going to be on display through October 10th, 2020. When you're looking at our work, see if you can spot any of the animated characters that I'm talking about. Today, we're using JoAnne's work as our inspiration, and we are going to be creating our own animated characters by using things that we're going to find outside in our natural surroundings and in our garden. It's going to be so much fun. To be using my garden as my art studio. So you want to go outside. If you've got a garden, that's a perfect place, but any sort of outdoor space will work, even if it's just the tiniest patch of grass or an area where a couple plants are growing. That's going to be a great studio space for Family Art Saturday. JoAnne Carson spends a lot of time in her garden. When she first moved to Vermont, she was looking at her window and saw just a blank field, and she started saying, gosh, what can I create there? What kind of artwork can I do? And she built this beautiful garden with sculpted trees and flowers, and it's amazing, and it inspires some awesome work. Before we begin our art making, take a little stroll around your garden space or look really closely at the little patch of flowers or plants that you may have decided to work by and get a good idea of what's actually growing so that you know what kind of materials we can use. I'm going to begin by just really checking out the different colors, shapes, textures that I have in my garden. I can see I definitely have a lot of red rose petals to work with. I've got a couple different leaves here. I've got a really shiny rose leaf, and then the leaf of these black raspberries has really nice pointy edges and really good raspberries I could work with too. Cruising over here, I can see I've got some nice spiky blues and greens. It is amazing. I think I could probably find a whole rainbow just within this garden. Got lots of these big flat leaves. Oh my goodness, lots to work with. Now JoAnne, she spends a lot of time in her garden and painting and drawing from the things she sees, but she'll start painting or drawing this flower, and then all of a sudden they become these wonderful animated characters. So if we look really closely at these flowers, what could they transform into? If we use our imagination, what could they become? I take these little flowers and set them on the grass and use a little green apple right there, I'm starting to see a face. I don't know about you. I've got these little pie cherries, and if I arrange them in a smile, then I have the beginnings of a wonderful animated character. Just by taking the flowers and the fruits and the leaves that are growing around us and arranging them and thinking about them with our creativity, we can come up with some really cool characters. This one seems full of joy. Or I could build a whole body. I could give it hair. I could start to build arms and a body to it. Give it some ears, maybe some jewelry. All sorts of things can start just by looking at these flowers in a new way and beginning to animate them. A good way to get started with this exercise is to just choose a plant and to spend some time looking at it as an artist. I'm near this spruce tree here, and it's got this really prickly texture to it, and I could start to imagine what kind of character could I build that has all of these different spikes on it. So, something to consider. Just pick a plant and start looking at it and say, all right, what kind of character would wear those colors or textures? I brought my sketchbook out to the garden too, because sometimes it's nice to have a piece of paper to work on. It can really help make your animated nature character stand out, and then you can also draw on top of it if you want. I started building this little creature. I can also use my pencil and add details. I started to think about adding grass, but I could draw a house or a friend for my character or whatever things may come to my imagination. You are the artist, so you can use your materials however you like. Just start thinking, how are you going to make these garden objects come alive? How are you going to animate them? You can think about different textures and what they might want to be. This wonderful lamb's ear here is super soft. It's also kind of a silvery shine to it. Makes me think about different kinds of animal fur. I started out by looking at it thinking that this leaf would make a really awesome bunny ear, but I don't know if they're quite bunnies, but they're definitely some animated characters. And so cute! It can be fun to look inside the garden for a place to make a drawing and then hide one so that when you're working in the garden next time, you'll come across a cool drawing. I made this kitty and hid it inside my garden. I was inspired because my artist friend Imelda showed me this awesome cat that she found that someone had made with sand and seashells, and so it inspired me. This kitty's for you, Imelda, and it's hiding in my tomato plants. When I saw these morning glory leaves, I thought about the head of a serpent. Come see what I made. Yesterday, when I was in the garden and going to pick some of the black raspberries, I saw a garden snake guarding my raspberries. So I thought, well, I should make kind of a fancy serpent. And then I built it and wound it all the way around my deck. My stairs were a very good surface for building this serpent because it's all green. If I had put it on the grass, it might not have stood out. It could have been a little bit more camouflaged, which might be cool, but I wanted it to show up just a little bit more. The sidewalk can be a great surface for our animated creature project. It'll help make all of the nature objects stand out. You can use sidewalk chalk for more details, and you'll be able to share your art with your neighborhood. working on the sidewalk. There's so much space to work. It's a perfect canvas and lots of possibility with the chalk. I wonder how we can make our streets come alive with all of our animated characters. Our neighborhoods are going to be enchanted. So fun to create these wonderful drawings, animating all of the nature around us. The possibilities are endless. One thing to consider while you're building these is they are ephemeral. They are not going to last forever outside in nature. They're only going to be in here for a little bit of time. They're going to be really amazing while they're here, but eventually the wind may blow them away or the rain may wash them away. So you'll have to enjoy them while they're here, or you can also take a photograph of your piece and preserve the memory that way. Even just the simplest animation can be so fun. This just uses a flower petal ripped in half, a little bit of grass, a couple flower buds, and a piece of charcoal. Have a great day. Emma Sutton, an artist who's helped out with Family Art Saturday before, made this adorable little sea turtle, and I love how she even went beyond the sea turtle and made the seaweed growing around it and gave it some sort of environment with the petals as well. So not only building a character, but also building the setting for that character. Really cool. This project can be done inside too, in your home studio. You don't need a whole garden or a lot of collected natural materials. You can use some paper and pencil, and this is just using a couple blades of grass and that wonderful spiky spruce tree that we saw. I have completely enjoyed spending time in my garden. My garden is now even more enchanted with all of these new characters. I hope you and your family have fun imagining new characters and building them together. There'll be another Family Art Saturday in August. Until then, goodbye. Happy creating. Thanks so much for joining me.